Welcome back. My name is Steve.
I'm Erica.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Steve. And this is Streaming Things, streaming Severance Season 2, Episode 9, The After Hours.
After hours.
Ooh.
Hours.
I got to be honest with you guys. I kind of geeked out when I saw the title of this episode was The After Hours. I'm like, oh, yeah, here we go.
Episode 10, creaming it.
One can hope from your mouth to Kier's ears.
Oh, thank you for
Got to get the right deity.
Yeah. That voice, if you don't recognize her, is our beloved Erica.
Beloved is a strong word.
Back for more. Kit Laser is out in Allah doing Kit Laser cool things. He should be back next week. In the meantime, a lot of people were asking, when is Erica coming back? Bring back the blonde lady, as one YouTube comment said.
Yeah, it was like one. And that's what exactly it. One person said.
they can only mean one person. Erica.
No.
But we're happy to have you back.
Yeah,
Erica.
welcome
so
back.
much.
Thanks, friends.
This is exciting.
You guys are in for a treat. If you don't know already, Erica is like the biggest Severance fan. It feels wrong. It feels like an insult to just call you merely a fan of Severance. You're
I would
more
say
like a
I'm
deity.
a fan addict.
Fan addict.
A fan addict.
Okay.
A fanatic.
Oh, super cute.
I love it.
Love it.
Well, I'm so happy to have you here. How have you guys been this week? It's been a couple days.
I've been good. I'm busy as fuck, but I'm happy to be here. Happy to party with you guys. Speaking of party, what's going on here, Steve?
Okay, so before we get into what we're going to do this week is we're going to do our overall thoughts. We're going to slip into a recap. We're going to do a couple fun things.
Right
our Kier moments, our top 3 favorite moments of the episode. We're going to do our Waffle Party recipient, our best performance of the episode, and end with a wellness session for these two, if they're good enough. But I don't think we have any worry about that. They're going to be good enough. But before we do that, when Kit's away, the mice do play.
Hey.
And some of you may be thinking, if you're old hats at this, you're like, oh, where's the Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey? Where is it? It's right there, honestly.
It's right here.
It's literally behind me.
Severance is a classy show. It's a classier show. So I thought for Severance, the After Hours episode, we should do a Severance themed cocktail.
Sevy and a Bevy.
Yeah.
Sevy and a Bevy is right, my guy.
That's one frippery we can abide.
Oh, we can abide all these fripperies. This is a cocktail I found on Reddit. It was submitted by Gin Before Breakfast.
Oh, hell yeah. Their style.
They have crafted this drink called the Ace of Spades. Look at the camera if you can. It's a nice purpley drink and it has a little cherry on the rim. It's themed after the testing floor elevator that we see so much of and that Helly's looking for in this episode. Andy, do you want to know what's in this drink before we drink it?
I would love to know.
It has 1.5 ounces of gin, 1 ounce of pomegranate juice, 3/4 an ounce of blue curacao, 3/4 an ounce of lime juice, and 1/4 ounce of maraschino liqueur.
Ooh.
This sounds incredible.
I'm excited. Sounds sweet.
The
it
work
kind of smells like medicine, but I bet it's going to taste
I love
incredible.
medicine. We're going to do a medicine.
Is it Lumon branded medicine?
Hey.
Well, you want to down the hatch?
All right.
Here we go.
Cheers.
Oh, that's delicious.
Very interesting
Oh,
flavor.
that's great.
What do you think?
Well, I just brushed my teeth. That was a mistake. Yeah. The
It
citrus.
tastes a little like toothpaste.
The citrus does not go well with crust whitening, whatever. So
your mouth is burning.
no, I love gin.
Well, listener, if you love what you're hearing so far, you can always interact with the show by emailing us at streamingthingspod@gmail.com. Support the show over on patreon.com/streamingthings, where we've got a whole bevy of fun features.
I see what you did there.
Andy and I creamed a lot of bonus episodes recently. We're doing Game of Thrones over there. Midnight Mass is starting next week. A little bit of a addendum to what I said earlier this week, because Kit's out of town. We can't do the Midnight Mass. It'll begin next week with 2 episodes being released. So get ready for that. Also, our March poll themed around Women's Month.
Women's History Month. We're doing female directors. We got some good ones in there, man. We got Love and Basketball. We got Raw.
Oh, yeah.
We got Point Break.
Oh, yeah.
And we got one other one that I can't think of right now.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
So if you want
a good list.
If you want to listen to our episode on one of those 4 movies, join Patreon and vote for whichever one you want to hear. Without all the business out of the way, I want to know what you guys think about Season 2, Episode 9 of Severance, After Hours. Erica, what are your overall thoughts on this episode?
So I'm a huge fan of the show. I loved this episode. I pretty much have said that over every single episode except for number 4. I love this episode, but I'm going to say it was a little shocking after the pacing of the last episode. It kind of felt like Christopher Nolan directed this one.
Oh. And a lot of listeners might
hear
be
a thing that they said the entire time.
a lot of listeners may be thinking, wow, a Nolan directed thing. She does not mean that as a
It's not really a compliment. I feel like Christopher Nolan's movies are all just like, I feel like he just did a bunch of coke and dumped some movie parts into a bag and just pulled them out, and that's the way they fell. But I don't think that this episode is like that, really. I just think it's like super fast paced.
I'm throwing a lot of information at you.
Thank God I took my ADHD meds before I watched it, because they were kind of making up for stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because they had two bottle episodes. I guess you could say they were both bottle episodes.
Well,
sort of.
Very controversial topic on if they're considered bottled or not.
Very singularly focused episode.
Yeah. But this was great. I loved it. We did get so much more information, and there were lots of little, look at, what's that mean? What's that mean? Oh, what's that? What's over there? So I love that kind of stuff. So it was really fun.
Andy, how about you?
I think this episode was phenomenal. It felt like payoff because it had been so long since we got the core 4, to like pick back up. What the fuck's Helly been doing? What the fuck's Dylan been doing? Is Irv even alive anymore? I thought that it was a great payoff, not just like because it felt good to be back, but also to like really explore some of the like deeper, more nebulous, emotional, complex conundrums that this show kind of presents just by the virtue of its premise. So like Innie Dylan being in love with his outie wife, and his outie wife like feeling these complex emotions of like, you remind me of what you used to be and things like that. I think that Outie, Irv, and Bert having this like moment of will they, won't they, and like exploring the complexities of our Innies are in love, but what does that mean for us? And the heart-wrenching moments of Irv, and we'll get to that when we do. Milchick fucking like being a fucking powerhouse again this episode. He's so fucking good.
God.
There's a ton that happens in this episode.
So much.
Yeah, I had a great time with it.
Yeah, I agree with all you guys. I really enjoyed this episode as well. It is, I think, pacing-wise very different than the previous one for sure. So I think a lot of people who maybe weren't into the last episode, Sweet Vitriol, will like this one more. Because the way it shook out, it seems like Sweet Vitriol was very much a 50-50 split in the audience. Either you like that episode or you hate that episode.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen a lot of in-betweeners. But I mean, I love that one as well, but I like this one. What I really appreciate about this one is it feels like a penultimate episode to a season.
Yes.
Like it feels like, things are really coming to a head.
Hell yeah.
We're getting some, I don't know if it's emotional payoff, but we're getting to the emotional like crux for several storylines, like with Dylan and Gretchen, Irv and Bert, all that stuff. But then we're also like, they're just holding back just enough on and this is the part I think some people might be like screaming at their TVs at this week is like, what's Cold Harbor? Cut to the next scene, like that kind of thing. Yeah. I feel like some people are going to be like pointing at that screen like, you motherfuckers.
You bitch. Just say what it is.
You smug motherfuckers. But I mean, but I love the way that they're introducing all these or not introducing, but they're coalescing all these plot threads, I think, beautifully into one dramatic, like everything flows so well together, scene to scene. And they've done so much groundwork on a lot of characters.
I love that.
That, in the first season, we thought we knew who Cobel was. We thought we knew who Seth Milchick was. And then by this episode, there are scenes with both of them where you're just like, oh my God, they have taken me on a ride with these characters so much that I'm glued to them. I don't know. Are they going to like burn the company down with them? Do they have their own sort of agenda? Like there's a scene with Milchick and on the phone with Mark. I think that's like really incredible.
Oh, it's so good.
It fucking
broke me.
Mark's story is incredible. I think Adam Scott's amazing in this episode, especially when he's like, no, fuck this. Gemma's in there right now. We're not doing anything. Like that panic in his voice is just so you totally understand. And part of you is like, yeah, go in there. Like you kick down the door and be like, where is she? But and then even just the small, I love the reintroduction of Jaime Egan back into the plot, because just having him sneak back in here at the 11th hour is so weird, but it also feels like even the antagonists of the show are putting all of their chips on the table, because it's all or nothing for them at this point. And just his minor presence really heightens the stakes and anticipation for what's going to happen next week.
Are you guys scared that the Egans are going to win?
Oh yeah, they're definitely going to win.
I feel like they might.
Oh, if there's going to be a third season, I don't know if there's going to be another season after season 3, but if this is the 3-part arc, this would be the Empire Strikes Back moment where this season has the unhappy ending.
They cut off Mark's arm. He's like, yeah, oh my God.
Seth is like, I'm your father, Mark. And he's like, no!
How?
It's impossible.
You know it to be true.
Oh my God.
This is an amazing episode. And lastly, my last little bit is I love how the story sort of moves its way to a point where it's Innie, Mark, and Cobel.
Yeah.
Like, because I kind of forgotten that a real big driver of this show has been Innie Mark's story. And we kind of got away from Innie Mark's story for a bit there. It was very much Outie Mark's needs for finding Gemma and all this stuff, rightfully so, because that's like a big part of the story. But I think it was really cool that they kind of circled back and they're like, okay, it's Innie Mark versus Cobel. He doesn't know that she's on his side. I just really love the drama that potentially brings up.
I also just don't know what the fuck reintegration means at this point, because like if they've done the procedure, they flooded the chip, he fucking seized up on the floor, he went through his dream sequence. I thought he was going to wake up a reintegrated man, and that appears not to be the case. And it seemed to be very much Outie Mark that was riding around in the car, and then very much Innie Mark at the birthing cabin.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. So like,
I'm going to say something that's going to make you guys mad, but it kind of actually medically makes sense.
Yeah.
Because she just kind of Ragabi just kind of shoved some brown liquid, whatever that was, from a vial into his brain.
Pappy Van Winkle.
God, if only, right? Wouldn't that just be so happy?
Fireball cinnamon whiskey.
Happier with Pappy.
She gave Petey the fireball.
But there would be swelling, and it could affect your memory. And he's really functional right now for having a bunch of fluid shoved in his brain.
Well, also, I think like Ragabi made a point to say like she went too far too fast with Petey, and so they're walking it slow with Mark. It
takes time.
So whereas Petey theoretically was like, okay, we flipped the switch and he's reintegrated. It didn't work out. Like his brain was obviously battling with its own memories. But she was trying to do it a little bit differently with Mark so that he wouldn't completely fall apart the way Petey did.
He could have legit brain swelling in there too. I mean, that takes time to heal and go down. So I imagine if that affects it at all, I mean, shit, you probably don't remember anything for a while. Short-term memory, not so much.
His eyeballs.
I don't know.
Like popping out a little bit.
Oh, God. I don't remember exactly where in the brain that the chip sits. I'm sure there's a specific place, but
medulla oblongata.
I was gonna go there.
That's probably
That's the one part of the brain whose name I know.
Oh my God.
There's only 2 parts of the brain: the medulla oblongata and the stem.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's medically correct. Mm-hmm.
The frontal lobe,
the prefrontal thingamajig,
cortex.
Yeah, that,
and the liver.
And the liver.
Yeah, definitely part of the brain. The liver. Yes.
Science.
We're really good at science. Can I say one more thing before we move on to the recap?
I wish you would.
Moving on.
Okay. The title of this episode.
Oh yeah.
Andy, did you notice anything besides the really cool streaming things relationship?
Easter egg.
Did you find anything about the title of the episode?
No, I didn't know to look.
Okay, well, it's the title of season 1, episode 34, Twilight Zone. So let's see if that comes back when we get to the recap.
Wait, what?
Go with us.
Season 1, episode 34 of the Twilight Zone. It aired June 10th in 1960.
Gather around with us around the microphone.
We'll see. Maybe it comes back. We'll see.
As we watch the show Severance, only here in the Twilight Zone. Well, guys, how about are we ready to get into the recap?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, before we do that, let's take a brief break to listen to some words from sponsors. Oh, hello there. Didn't see you there. We were just drinking this fine beverage that we made at the beginning of the show. It's called the Ace of Spades. It's quite delicious. Erica, how does it taste now that we're a few more minutes removed from your brushing of teeth?
It's better. And my favorite part is that it gives me a clown nose when I drink it on the camera.
Oh, because of the cherry?
It was a little too good, man. Mine's fucking on its way out.
Nice.
But I had a good time.
Yeah,
and thank you.
I'm going to guzzle this bad boy too. Well, we're at the part of the show where we start diving in to the recap. Are you all ready?
So excited.
Let's do it.
Well, Apple TV Plus describes the after hours thusly. Outie Mark and Devon team with an unexpected ally to enact a plan. Innie Helly investigates Mark's absence while Dylan receives some hard news. Emphasis on hard.
You have cancer.
Oh, God.
Just the any of you has cancer. The Outie will be fine.
He'll be fine. What the fuck? Madison. I'm so used to looking over here and saying Madison. Erica.
He's in trouble after hours. This is great.
I'm not mad. I wish I was as cool as Madison. My God.
I wish you were as cool as Madison too.
Right? Seriously.
Well, you had talked to me when we started watching about this episode. They changed the synopsis beforehand. What was you want to speak more about that?
No, I'm sorry. What had happened was it was 2 lines and they were very short and I don't even remember what they were.
It was
but
like, Outie Mark does stuff.
Yeah.
Innie Mark does different stuff.
Innie Helly investigates. And I started screaming because there was so much description in the episode description. I'm like, did you see it? Steve, the description changed. Did you see it? Did you see? And Steve is immediately like, already?
Yeah, I was like, what?
We didn't even start it yet. What?
Yeah, I clicked the icon to start the episode and she's like, wait, stop. I'm like, okay, backed out. And then she's like, they changed it. I'm like, they just posted it.
I look ahead.
But you're referring to the Apple TV Plus will have next week's episode has an icon that you can't click.
You know, I've been looking at that for 7 days.
I haven't looked at it at all. All right. Well, this episode starts off. It's Helena. She's doing some morning swimming. Her form's great. It's a beautiful indoor pool. She's keeping in shape. I really love, there's this one shot of her where she's like breathing, but she's kind of floating on top of the water. But the way it's framed, it looks like she's
face
underwater,
down.
face down.
Yeah.
It's a really cool shot.
Gee, I wonder what that's all about.
Is swimming part of your morning routine, Andy?
It 1,000,000% would be if I had a pool. I don't talk about it all that often, but I was a huge swimmer my entire life. I went to fucking state and shit.
Did you really?
Yeah. And
I didn't know this.
Yeah. And
Is there pictures of you in Speedos?
yes. There's 1,000,000 pictures of me in Speedos.
Send them.
I'm going to put them on the video right now.
Hell yeah.
I do not have any pictures of me still in Speedos. And if I had them, I would not give them to you. But anyway, 1,000,000%, if I had the opportunity, I would be swimming every morning, all the time. I thought that this was Devon for the entirety of this until it cut to Helly walking through the house afterward. And I was like, oh, that wasn't Devon.
We're like, damn, Devon, get it.
She got skills.
Get those morning strokes in.
Yeah.
Is it too early to relate this to stuff?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, because the whole swimming thing and the theory about Cold Harbor, because in the episode 7, I think, was the Mark and Gemma episode.
7, yeah.
Yeah, Chikai Bardo. Yeah. So in one of the tests that she does in the very beginning of the episode, she's holding 2, it looks like rocks, and she's squeezing them, and it's the woe meter.
It is.
Wometer? The wometer?
We didn't mention that in the episode, but yeah, the meter that they're using is called the woe meter.
It's called the woe meter. And when she's holding it, and she gets asked by, I call her Nurse Nancy. That is not her name, but I can't stop thinking of her as Nancy. But she asked her, the whole question about if you were in a mudslide, would you fear drowning, suffocating or drowning?
Yeah.
And she says drowning. And we get that shot of Helena swimming in her opulent pool. But they frame it so she looks upside down. So is that related to what's going to happen later with Gemma?
Maybe.
I feel like it might. I have a theory, but I will save that for a deper discussion towards the end.
Okay, great. Sorry, I did jump in really fast.
No, I love
I'm
it
the
when you jump
Christopher
in.
Nolan.
Jump on in.
I'm so excited. And spazzy.
But Helena is done with her morning swim, so it's time to have breakfast with Dad. She walks in. James is just kind of staring off, looking at the property. His fucking voice, dude. They were like, think of Voldemort, but more decrepit.
He sounds like the fucking king of Rohan in Two Towers before he gets like the exercised and shit. Oh, let's go, something going on.
Creamer Wormtongue's in the corner. Ill news is an ill guest.
You have no power here,
But Helena's like, hey, Dad, do you want to eat? And he's like, no, I'll watch you.
Weird. That's so fucking creepy.
He pours a drink. Andy, what do you think this drink was? Because we were talking. Erica thought maybe it was tea. I thought maybe it was espresso, but it looks very sludgy and gross. And when he drinks it, he's like, I don't like it.
It is very clearly some tea made out of some nasty shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know what kind of new age fucking voodoo medicine he's trying to
keep alive with.
Yeah. Ashwagandha tea.
I hope there's midi-chlorians in there because he is struggling.
Why is this beverage part of the P90X? I want off the program. But Helena is eating a hard-boiled egg that she has perfectly sliced into 6 perfect slices.
So weird.
On a plate with a bunch of people holding a child down on a chair.
Yeah, it's creepy. It's like 2 witches and they're like holding this little boy down on a chair. It's creepy as fuck.
And she cuts her 6 pieces of egg into even smaller pieces to eat it with.
Yeah, she had to reveal the child.
Mm-hmm. That's how she did it.
It makes the whole meal.
Ew.
Pretend it's a child that you're eating. She tells James that they're seeing to Mr. Bailiff today. Ominous for Irving. So they're clearly in on whatever's going to happen to Irving later in this episode. But James says one final thing to her. He says, I wish you ate your eggs raw.
Yeah. Just if it wasn't weird enough, let's
you know why?
drive that dagger in.
Tell us, Erica, why?
Because Kier drank 3 eggs with milk for breakfast.
Oh,
3 raw eggs.
3 raw eggs.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's like, so James watching her eat those hard-boiled eggs thinking like, poser.
It's pretty nice to have somebody here that pays attention to the show, you know?
Oh my God, extensive notes. I'm a psychopath.
100%. None of us would have caught that shit.
What? Oh.
Just low-key shade at Steve.
Yeah, you know. You do your best, babe.
I didn't know who
My
Mr.
babe?
Bailiff
My babe.
was, so it's all good.
Mr. Bailiff.
Yeah, Irving Bailiff.
I freaked out.
Irving B.
Didn't put it together.
I only caught it the second viewing.
Same. Well, Helena goes to work. She has her own driver. And we get this fun little reveal that the Egan estate house is just right up the road from the Lumon water tower, which is just right up the road from the Lumon building that we see all the time.
Oh.
So they live on the property.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
So it's like Will's house. It's just
yes,
right there, pretty centrally located.
This is so
That's a deep
weird.
Stranger Things cut.
Yes. Everything's a mile away.
Did you notice that the tree line made the
That's
shape
what I
of
was
the
going to say.
teardrop?
Yeah. They cleared it on purpose to be the tear. Ugh,
Can
weird.
we fuck up some trees, but make sure it's in the shape of a teardrop?
But do it prettily.
Give me 3 raw eggs. Actually, you eat them. I want to watch you.
You're like baby Voldemort.
I like to watch.
Nikki.
Helena Egan, the girl who was severed. Come to eat eggs.
I love it.
We cut to the credits at this point, and then when we're back from the credits, it's Eustace Wong's Wintertide Fellowship ending. It's a nice little one-on-one ceremony with Mr. Milchek. She's winning the same award that Harmony Cobel won years prior, the James Egan Fellowship, or Wintertide Fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
They get that little bust of his head, and she's going to be sent to the Gunnell Egan Empathy Center in Svalbard.
Is that a real place? I thought you would be on it, Steve.
I don't look up the towns because
so Svalbard is a Norwegian archipelago between mainland Norway and the North Pole. So it's
They're
like
fucking shipping her off.
Yeah, they're shipping her off. Like, we know that Milchek has like a weird animosity towards her. So he's like, this is the like when you watch movies in the 80s when like government agencies are mad at each other, like, I'm going to have you deported to the Antarctic station and you'll be pushing papers your whole goddamn life. He's basically doing that to poor Miss Huang.
Oh.
That's crazy. And well, I mean, like we've been in winter forever in this season. So, I mean, it feels both seasons, actually. It's been cold and icy both seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's only been like
a couple weeks.
Couple months have passed by in the show's timeline. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least she'll be prepared.
There was one little funny thing that we caught. Her plaque for her award says it's the year of vision. Which is the same year that Sissy had her award in the previous episode.
I called it her award for being the bitchiest beaver.
Oh, jeez.
She wasn't busy. She was bitchy.
She was. That is true.
Whatever.
Miss Huang is upset that she's not going to be able to finish the quarter. And she's going to have a shuttle pick her up at dusk. They're going to move her bed from her parents' house to Svalbard, which is all kinds of what? And a sacrifice needs to be made in order for this betterment. And
give me your Game Boy.
Yeah, Mr. Milchek has suggested her ring toss game as a proper totem. And she has to smash it.
That's fucked up.
So the actress was talking about this game in one of the earlier episodes of the Severance podcast, the Ben Stiller and Adam Scott podcast. And she said that she had never seen one of those water games with the rings before. Oh, that was new to her.
I just crumbled the dice.
I just became that Santa Claus gift for he just becomes old suddenly.
Yeah.
She's like, what the fuck is this?
Also, she's been so like mean and like scary for a child. Did you feel they humanized her a little bit too in this episode?
Oh yeah.
Did you feel for her?
Absolutely.
I thought I was going to finish the quarter. Suddenly she's scared.
I think she's much more like Mr. Milchek than either of them would like to admit.
Yeah.
They're very similar in that they want to do their job incredibly well, but they do have a sense of empathy that keeps them from 100% being total team players for Lumon, if that makes sense.
And there's a part later in the episode, if you'll remember, she was like, why are we giving them a funeral?
They're not people.
They're not people. And then she definitely has a little change of heart later, but we can get there.
Well, maybe it's because of the fact that she's been moderating the family checks with Dylan and Gretchen. Like she's been the one sort of keeping an eye on them. Maybe like her time doing that has like made her like, oh, I'm rooting for Innie Dylan. Outie Dylan sucks. But speaking of which, Gretchen and Dylan they're getting ready to go to work in the morning. I guess she's coming back from work and he's ready to go into Lumon. This is Outie Dylan and Gretchen. We do get a confirmation. We can finally get a good look at her badge. She is a 911 dispatcher. We had theorized that she was a dispatcher of some type.
I got to be on that episode. How fun. Full circle.
Yeah, full circle. Look at that. And she comes clean to Dylan. She says, hey, I kissed your Outie for about a whole mass minute. It was 1 minute in heaven.
I like that she added the time for about a minute.
From approximately 1:53 p.m. to 1:54.
There was a transcript. It just said
lip noises. And they start fighting. You know, she says like, hey, you've been adrift. You know that. So it's okay that I kissed your Innie, basically, which is kind of funny. And he says, that's all sorts of dimensions of fucked up. Yeah. What did you think about this little fight?
It's so interesting because it's like, is it cheating? I guess so, because like it's at least emotional cheating, right? If not physical. And it's sort of like the inverse of what happened to Helly with Mark. And so it's, it's not gross because obviously she's like still in love with her husband, but he has, become this whole other person that he's not who he used to be, And I guess Innie Dylan reminds her of who she married, and that's tragic.
Yeah, it's really complicated.
Yeah, super complicated. But I love his response though of like, I'm gonna head to work. Don't follow me so you can fucking cheat on me with my own body. Like, yeah.
I mean, and that is another like really great example about consent. Like he is feeling betrayed because she sneaked around. She lied. She kissed this person it is him. And maybe that's why she didn't feel it was as bad when she's explaining it, because at least if it was Annie Dillon, it was still her husband, same body, but the consciousness isn't there. So this is super, super complicated.
She definitely knew it was at least fucking kind of wrong because she didn't tell him about it. Yeah.
Right. Right.
She sneaked. You sneaked.
Yeah. Snuck isn't a word.
And before he leaves, he contemplates. He's like, well, I'm going to go earn a paycheck to feed our children and maybe I'll quit to snuff them out of existence is basically what he says, which is like, oh shit. God damn. That's kind of wild to say. But I mean, it's very complicated. It's a very complicated situation. That's why I love this show. It has a lot of juicy situations like this. But we cut to Irving. He's coming home. When he enters the door, radar seems to be, locked in on something. Something's on the radar, and it's Bert in the other room.
Not much of a guard dog. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we talk about radar? Because is he... Because I think that it just goes to show that Radar's familiar with both Bert and Drummond. He didn't bark. He didn't attack. He didn't hear a dog.
Because when
they
Drummond
probably
broke
come
into
there so often, and Bert obviously has the key the same way. Drummond has a key the same way. Cobel has a key to Mark's house. Their upper management, they have keys. And so they probably got in good with Radar from the beginning.
They got in good with Radar.
Radar is awesome. I would want to be his friend.
I would love to see the deleted scene of Mr. Drummond specifically going, who's a good boy? Who's a sweet boy?
With that mushroom head.
Here's my frolic hand has treats. Here's a good boy. But yeah, Bert's...
treats are mysterious but important.
Here is your quota of treats for the week. Bert is in the other room reading notes that Irving has taken on him. They say... They may also be connected in several recent disappearances or deaths. Goodman may have participated as a low-level Lumon enforcer or goon. And
Steve,
that word...
this is the wide open opportunity to do the impression. I'm not sure why you're not doing it.
Christopher Walken?
It's hurting my
Because I don't
soul.
do a great walk-in. I do like a poor man's drunk walk-in.
I love his...
Wow, a goon.
Wow, a goon. I love his very specific... language, the little tongue click that he gives.
Yes.
God, he's so fucking good.
We never use words like that. And Irving's like, hey, I was wrong. That was before I knew you. I know you're not with them now. And
he's totally lying too. He's freaking out.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, this
the
man
dude
is
broke
in
into his
my house. No. This is like the fear and fawn thing, like the reaction to panicking. Like, oh no, I was wrong. I know you're not with them. No way.
This is your house.
Yeah.
And the scene ends with Bert coming up to Irv and going, go for a ride with me.
Yeah.
There you go. There it is.
Let's go for a ride. Come on. Do you like cowbell?
God, that's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would not. No, thank you, Christopher Walken. I do not want to go for a ride with you.
He tried. He tried to say, I'm sorry. It's like, go for a ride with me. Like, it wasn't really it wasn't a request. It was a command.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you one thing that I wish they did in this episode, but I really don't because it would ruin every scene. But the sick, twisted part of me would think this is so funny, is if Fields was with them every part of this story. So Fields was in the corner like, what did they say to you about the goons?
He's in the background creeping in another car.
He's like throwing a Hail Mary. Let's go for a ride, Irving. It's going to be great.
Attila, I would never call you a goon. I just call you Attila.
A goon. The man doesn't know his history. So in the next scene, we kind of see a lot of different shots of the testing floor looking empty. And then we go to like the MDR room where Dr. Maurer is watching Gemma on the screen.
It's where the twins sit. The twins of everybody in MDR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
MDR is MDR.
He's got
Yes.
a little Lumon bandage because she clocked the fuck out of him.
Hilarious. But it's black, not blue. Mm.
Which is interesting. Yeah.
Because of the black door.
Yeah.
Right? Testing floor.
I think that's...
They got black Band-Aids.
I love whoever is in charge of all of that shit at Lumon. Like, well, it's a different floor. We got to color code the floors. Obviously, it's a very important for the business.
That's super good design.
O&D, you get a purple Band-Aid.
It's Cold Harbor is stuck at 96%. And then Dr. Maurer snitches to Dr. Drummond. He's like, hey, the numbers aren't moving. It's 9 o'clock. So Mr. Drummond calls Mr. Milchek and says, hey, the numbers aren't moving. What the fuck? Well, Mark S. may be running late. He's not here today. And we find out from Mr. Drummond that today was the day that final quota was promised. Get him here now.
It's probably the end of the quarter.
Yeah.
Right? Because like that's the deadline is the end of the quarter.
Well, I don't know if it's like the exact end of the quarter, but you probably want to end. It's probably towards the end of the quarter. It's not like the final quarter.
I feel like
date.
it's Monday. He almost finished the work on Friday. And then you're like, all right, he's got the weekend off, but then he gets reintegrated in the meantime. And so like Monday, like, here it comes, here it
Motherfucker,
comes.
you've been here for 5 days and you've moved it by 4%. What the fuck? Because he's been busy.
It still cracks me up during Chikai Bardo when Mr. Drummond's like, the nosebleed set us back. Oh, yeah, it was the nosebleed.
It was definitely that. Like, they're monitoring nothing for the majority of the day. The twins are so bored.
Maybe we shouldn't allow them to dick around all day. Interesting.
And the work is mysterious and important. We just got to let them go.
But it's at this point that Helly R arrives on the severed floor, and she's the only one at the office, and she's worried because Mark's not there. Like usually he's the first one there, and he does all the department head shit to like the cleaning of the papers and everything. And so she's worried. Where is Mark? He's driving with Devon.
He starts the coffee, man. How are we supposed to get through our day without Mark starting the coffee pot?
It's a very important job.
Like the
And sweeping
soaps
the
need to be
floor.
refilled. God.
There's
Dust the Kier articles that we're supposed to, silently give adherence to or whatever.
no one filled the TP up.
It's not foreplay in the MDR floor.
But yeah, no, Mark is driving the car with Devon. Devon's doing she's making sure he's okay. Like, where are you? Where's he at, Andy?
He's in a smelly fucking car.
Am I me or am I the copy machine?
I love that. Tragically, you're you.
I love their brotherly, sisterly
That's so
dynamic.
good.
It's so funny. But he's wondering, like, is this a mistake? Like, or he actually flat out says, this is a mistake. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I can't hear you through the whistling in your head.
Maybe the wind was whistling over the hole in the back of your head. You think my plan fucking sucks?
Yeah.
She is probably my favorite character.
I know. I love
Devon,
her.
she's so great.
so fun.
It was really weird a couple weeks ago. I forget I think it was the episode when she finds Mark being reintegrated and Regabi shows up. There's like a big like thing online where people are like, oh, Devon sucks. I hate her so much.
What?
And it was like, what? This is a weird turn.
What? Oh.
Yeah, there's some really weird takes about Devon that started that week.
Those people are dead to me.
I don't even know them.
But they pull off the road into some woods. Cobel's not there yet. Mark thinks it might be a trap. And Devon's like, it could be. Who cares? But we need her. And at that point, they see that Milchek's trying to get in contact with Mark. But both of them are like, don't answer, don't answer, don't answer. Which, as anyone of us who have stayed home and you get a call from your boss. Hello?
Absolutely.
I got the black lung, boss.
I'm really sick. I can't come to work today.
Oh, yeah, I got the runs. You don't want me coming in.
That was his excuse the first time.
Diarrhea.
I think it's food poisoning. You look trim.
Oh, God.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Irving remarks. I don't
You
know.
look trim. Yeah, I forgot all about that. That's funny. Helly barges into Milchek's office and she's like, where the fuck is Mark? Is he okay? He had this nosebleed. What's going on? And there's this really funny interaction, this line delivery that Milchek has where he's like, is Mark okay? Why? I want to know if Mark's okay. Why? He's just so
What's it to you?
over
He's
her shit.
Over it.
He's getting it from both ends today, and he doesn't have time for this. He basically says that Dylan is the department chief in Mark's absence, and Helly hits him back with kind of like how you are with Cobel. Replace one part with another. Damn.
That's enough, Helly R.
Oh, don't you mean Helly E?
She's my boss. You're my subordinate.
Mm.
This is insubordination.
It is.
Adoy, she
She's
says.
like, yeah, no shit.
No respect for poor Milchick.
This is my favorite because the juxtaposition of the scene with Mark, and he's all timid Mark from season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And Cobel's like, he's like, open or shut? And she goes, both. Oh, Mark. But Milchick is like, leave it open. Shut. It's too late.
Oh, that's a good callback.
It's too late.
Yeah.
She slammed
Wow.
it. He gets no respect.
No respect for poor Milchick.
Poor Milchick.
Innie, Dylan, and Gretchen are having their meeting, and Gretchen tells Dylan, like, hey, I told you about us, which is a really funny line in and of itself.
Yeah,
I told
that's
you
good.
about us. Yeah.
Oh, was he glad for us? No. No, he was not. Well, he should be because I'm making you happy, he says, and he's not. But Gretchen pretty much tells him that she can't see him anymore because he threatened to quit, and maybe if she says it's all over, he's not going to end your existence, Innie, Dylan. And this is such a heartbreaking scene.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It's so pitiful. Oh.
Dylan says, my life started when you came here. She's like, no, you have so much going on. And he's like, no, I have this and fucking pencil erasers. I thought it was an embarrassment of riches. And he
just
gets
an embarrassment.
he gets down on one.
The finger traps are pretty cool. But
In
the
fact-
fucking pencil erasers, we don't even have pencils.
The finger traps are so cool. I fashioned a makeshift wedding band out of a finger trap.
Oh,
for
is
you.
that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
He cut it.
Mhm.
Oh.
And he gets down on one knee. He says, I love you. I know I'm just an innie, but I love you all the way. I can give you a life, please. And
I love you all the way.
Mhm.
That's so sad.
But she cries, says she's sorry, and leaves. And then the most heartbreaking, like, Gretchen scream. Oh, kills me.
It was the same scream that when he tackles Milchick and he's like, tell me his name.
Tell me his name.
So for me, the scream took me out of it a tiny
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Because I heard, do a flip.
It is very much, hey, you Spider-Man? Yeah. Gretchen,
Gretchen, do a flip. Come back and marry me.
Okay, Gretchen.
Oh, no. That's hilarious.
Yeah, because his screaming of Gretchen is like not your stereotypical like Hollywood TV show, like my love don't go.
Yeah.
But there's something more real and raw about someone's voice breaking like that.
So
and it's not-
vulnerable.
it's kind of like, I could see where someone would say, oh, that's an embarrassing line delivery, but that's more real because when you're
Yeah.
emotionally compromised like that and you're just begging, you're not going to be worried about that shit.
Yeah, he's basically a teenager too. Like, how long has his life been? Gemma's was only 107 hours.
I mean, from this
Fair
point on
point.
in the episode, Dylan's basically just listening to Dashboard Confessional the whole time.
Poor buddy.
Spotify, play emo music on repeat.
What's Spotify?
Oh, yeah, that's true. There's probably Lumon.
Lumineye.
They've got whatever Lumen version.
Lumineer.
Of Spotify. Ooh, Lumineer. That's
Ooh,
actually pretty good.
Lumineer.
That's pretty good. I think that's true.
It's my favorite band. No, just kidding. It's not.
Well, after this heartbreaking moment with Gretchen, we see Dylan in the commissary with Helly, and he's pretty much told her everything about how he's been meeting with Gretchen and like all that plot line. So Helly knows this now. And Helly's like, well, you should save that ring, give it to someone down here.
Yeah.
He's like,
She's trying, man.
God bless her.
I don't know what you say to somebody if they get turned down in a proposal. Like,
Yeah.
but also if you're a
hang
person
in there.
whose only existence is in
Aw.
one room.
Yeah.
You went there, Andy. That's heartbreaking. Hang in there.
There's just O&D and the goat people down here.
That killed me. You know those goat people are smelly.
Brienne of Goats is a gem.
I mean, she's
Yeah.
hot. I'd propose to her.
Hey, engagements. We
Yeah.
don't abide by such fripperies here. But then we see some more like Helly's like hardcore like hates Outie. She's like, she's not your wife. No one would treat someone they love the way she's treated you. All the Outies treat us like this, like everything's for them. Which I think
a little harsh.
Helly's being a little harsh on Gretchen.
Yeah.
But she's trying to be
She's-
there for her boy, and also Helly's going through her own thing.
Yeah, I was going to say she's being harsh on Helena. She knows.
Yes,
She knows she's being harsh on Helena.
she should be harsh on Helena.
Yeah.
Helena is
That's
suspect.
exactly who she's talking about. Like, everything's just for them. Like, she's just spitting it.
Dylan says, what is there to do about it, though? We're stuck down here with no lives, no family. And Helly's like, Irving was your family. He wanted you to investigate the black hallway with him, but they convinced you to turn your back on him for some Outie woman you don't even know. Which
pissed him off. Pissed him off though.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I don't think she chose her
fault.
shot.
We're all down here, right?
Yeah.
Shit.
She could have given it 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just let it settle. Let it settle.
It wasn't the time to shoot that shot, girl. I get what you're trying to do, but that wasn't the time.
You're not wrong. You're just an asshole.
Yeah. And speaking of which, he's like, if we're so different from our Outies, how come we couldn't tell the difference between you and Helena while you were gone? And she's like, well, Irving could. And just to be an even bigger asshole, he's like, well, Mark couldn't because he knew that would hurt her feelings. He's being cruel. Irving would probably look at this and be like, Dylan was never cruel.
This is going to blow you away, but hurt people.
Fuck, that's
Have
deep.
you ever heard that?
Shit.
I think I just made it up.
For a
It's
second,
an adjective and a verb.
For a second, I thought you started a statement and then restarted the statement. And so I was like, what do hurt people do?
I just made it up to Steve. I literally just made that up.
Fuck, man.
You should write that down.
I should. Can make millions. Oh my God.
But yeah, Dylan says that he's sorry. He guess he's an asshole down here too. And we get this really cool transition. Like the show's amazing at the cross dissolve transition, where it's this sort of very sidey close-up angle of Helly's face, and it transitions to the wide shot of Cobel driving, but Helly's face almost perfectly aligns with the shoreline that Cobel's driving down.
Yeah.
And it's this amazing visual transition.
They're magicians.
cool.
They do it all the time. And I mean, the pre-production to plan for that type of shit is just an added layer of complexity that not a lot of showrunners and movies actually like take the time to think about. And that's why I think this show is head and shoulders above a lot of stuff going on in the moment. But Cobel makes it to the little meetup off the side of the street. She's like, how are you, Mark?
Dude, she just looks different now that we know.
She
That
does.
she fucking invented it all.
How so? Tell me.
It's just, I don't know. Everything about her stature before, like, screamed middle management with a stick up her ass.
Power, anger, harsh, cold.
Yeah. And now it's fucking like,
Oh, you're a person.
oh, I am Einstein if he was never recognized for his genius. Like, it's fucking crazy. It's so good.
This is crazy.
The only difference between Einstein and middle management is a decent backstory.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to
Cool
blow
name.
your minds again, but like women throughout history have had their ideas stolen from them and like didn't get the credit for it. Isn't that nuts? Can
That
you
is
believe
nuts.
it?
I can't. Andy,
It might not be true. We should Google it.
Andy,
It might
did you
not be
know
true.
that women throughout history have had their ideas stolen from them, like throughout history? Isn't that
Really?
incredible? Yeah, it's wild that people
Holy
haven't said it before.
I wish someone would say that.
Erica gets all the credit.
Thanks, babe. My babe.
My babe.
My babe.
But yeah, she's like, how are you, Mark? And I love Adam Scott's delivery where he's like, oh, so good.
Oh my God.
My wife's held prisoner and I got brain surgery in my basement. How have you been? I love...
We're allies now. There's no need to cut off.
not neighbors? We're not neighbors anymore? No, that happens at the end of season 1, Mark. Keep up.
You know, you got a brain injury, but God.
I'm so glad she's back. I know we said it last week, but I love Harmony Cobel, and I'm so happy she's back.
I never put
Sam.
it together until just now with you saying her lines there. Her delivery is so reminiscent of Alan Rickman playing Snape.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Dead on.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're catching on to a little bit of her inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's
Page
funny.
394, Mark.
Well, have you seen Patricia Arquette in
Orange.
any promotional interviews for the show at all?
Honestly, no. I see I've seen tons of Milkshake lately. I don't know if the
He's all
algorithm
over the
just
place.
locked
Yeah,
in
yeah.
on me or something.
Well, I don't think she does as many as the others do, but she is 100% Harmony Cobel. That's just who she is. It's so funny though. Like there was that one video before the seasons began where it was the Severance cast reading theories for season 2. And she's like, oh, you're wrong. You're so wrong. The things I could tell you about the goats. Like,
I think she was being in character though, because
I
when
love
you
it.
listen to her on the podcast, you got to listen to her on the last episode.
we don't abide by such fripperies here.
I know. I'm promoting another podcast. How dare I?
Edit point.
But she's so funny. She's like really like bubbly and almost like kind of flighty. And it's
Oh, she's
like,
very
who
flighty.
are you? I don't even know who you are right now. It's
love
so
her.
cute and she's so funny. I adore her. Yes.
But yeah, so Mark and Cobel are not getting along very much. Devon, we know what their plan is because Devon's like, hey, you can take us to the birthing cabin that we talked about. So it seems like their plan is to take Mark to the birthing retreat, and something in that cabin will, sever him so they can talk to Innie Mark and get the questions about where Gemma is and what he means about she's alive and all that stuff. But Cobel's like, even under the cover of dark, it's perilous. We wait for nightfall. And they're like, you had us meet at 9 a.m. What the fuck?
Okay. You want us to wait until
we
evening.
have to hang out for a while.
Does anyone like Parcheesi?
We can play Yuga Ma.
I have this new game. All the kids are talking about it. It's Hoop on a Stick.
How's the breastfeeding, Devon?
But she's like genuinely interested. Like she's like, it needs to be going well. Mark kind of freaks out. He's like, because Cobel says like, we don't know if he's even completed the file yet. I assume no. They're like, what file? Cold Harbor. And if you completed it,
Cold Harbor.
thank you.
God,
Cobel.
she draws that out. I fucking love it.
Cold. How much is the runtime? Harbor. And if you completed it, well, Gemma's already dead. And Mark understandably freaks out. He's like, she's in there. We're in the middle of nowhere. And Cobel's like, hey, you got to call Mr. Milkcheck. He's trying to get a hold of you. If he smells chicanery, he'll lock you out of the building. And he's like, oh, how about you fuck off?
Tell him you're unwell and unable to come to work today.
And
I love her.
Mark's not into it, but Devon is like, hey, we need to do this for Gemma. What do you think chicanery smells like? Is that like a new scent that's going to come out from Bed Bath & Beyond?
Smells like licorice.
Ooh.
I think licorice and shenanigans.
Licorice and shenanigans.
Yeah.
With a touch of daddy issues.
You know what I think it smells like, Steve?
What?
I think it smells like Fireball cinnamon whiskey.
Oh, Andrew.
Hang on, let me check.
Oh,
That's pretty chicanerous.
Oh my
oh
God.
my. Is it time to do a shot of Fireball cinnamon whiskey?
I think so.
We finished our other drinks, right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Hours
A
ago.
while ago.
Well, hey, let's go down the hatch.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's sever our minds.
Oh God. What a baby.
I know.
Helly is on a mission. She's going to the break room to get the directions to the black elevator that Irving had left Dylan. He told the crew about the directions a couple episodes ago. I actually really love the music cues in here. Like, I mean, the music in general is amazing on the show, but I like the way it was like hitting these hard, like boom noises when she's like putting the card in the key card thing. And it's like, she's looking around all like who's going to fuck with me
stomping
today?
like Godzilla down those hallways.
Yeah, Helly walks different, and I love that little
She's forceful.
thing that Britt does.
She leans a little more forward and like walks a little bit with her like shoulders out.
I feel
way.
like Helena kind of slumps, like she's being dragged a little. And
don't wanna
Helly
work.
is pissed, like always pissed. She's malice.
She is malice.
She's malice.
We keep getting cut between Helly discovering the directions and Dylan wandering the halls. At one point, he takes a long sigh and says, fuck this place.
He's feeling an Irving moment.
Let's burn this
You
place to
know?
the ground.
No, not that one. Like, I'm going to retire. I'm going to quit.
Oh, he's going to go out that door, kind of like how Irving wanted to do.
I'm done here. I'm sick of this place. I'm leaving.
We also get to see Irv and Bert. They're on that ride. Go on this ride with me. Bring your dog.
Bring your dog.
Bert is sort of confessing to
Radar.
Irving.
No, that's terrible, Christopher Walken.
Radar.
Can you do it again?
Radar. No, I can't. I can't do
I thought you were just
Walken.
saying the dog's name in a funny way. I didn't know you were doing a walk-in.
It's not a walk-in. That's
Can you
why
do
you
it one
didn't
more
know.
time for me?
It's a running.
No. I'm Christopher, because I'm Christopher Nolan. I'm too Coke fueled.
Hold on, Andy. This is for you.
Oh, I hate myself.
You hate yourself.
It's a radar.
It's radar.
Buy wall bombs for the boys in blue. Get
I'm
that.
going to blame Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey.
Honestly, that's fair. That's fair. But we kind of get a nice little lore dump for Bert. We were kind of wondering if maybe Bert was in on the ground floor of starting Lumon, starting Severance, all that stuff. But it turns out he was just kind of a low-level Lumon goon, as it were, because he says, like, I never hurt anyone.
Oh, no. See?
I want you to know that. I drove people to the places and didn't ask what happened to them once they got there. And then I love John Turturro's delivery of like, is that what today is? Is today the day where you drive me somewhere and I get disappeared?
Mm-hmm.
Not the worst end to a date ever.
Gee, and like, not only that, but like he brought his fucking dog. So you're going to kill my dog too? Jesus.
I will separate you.
You know what?
I like the dog.
I'm going to keep him.
I like this dog.
I'm going to keep him.
I'm going to give it the fields.
I need more radar. I love.
I need more radar. Sorry, that was great.
I'm sorry. It'd be funnier if you understood my accent. But I love this man. This pitiful, sweet, beautiful, teary-eyed man was just fucking drowning Helena Egan in a creek. This sweet, demure person that's in this car right now was dunking her, holding her head underwater.
Very mindful.
Like, I'll fucking kill you.
Very demure.
And now he's like, is that what today is? Like, who are you? People contain multitudes, guys. People contain multitudes.
They do.
No.
Yeah.
That is true.
Different people though, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, technically. So like this Irving wouldn't know that he was trying to drown Helena Egan in a creek.
The crazy part is that Bert says that his innocent part was his severed person on the inside on the severed floor. But Irving was a psychopath and he seems really sweet on the outside. So what's happening here?
Well, Innie Irving was a sweetheart until he was manipulated and
It's true.
forced into being like not trustworthy.
He was doing it
world.
for the greater good.
The greater good.
The greater good.
Dylan is filling out an Innie resignation request. So he's effectively, leaving this mortal coil.
He's checking
Assisted
all the
suicide.
boxes. I'm pissed. I'm angry. I'm sad. I'm unhappy.
I have diarrhea. I'm bloated. I'm crying a lot. I'm going through menopause. Wait,
Yes,
what?
I'm pregnant.
Yeah, all of them.
It's a sad baby. It's due now. And then Milchek has this weird thing if he's like, wow, this is disappointing and reeks of ingratitude. Not chicanery, which is a different scent, but it reeks of ingratitude.
That smells like old burrito and maybe microwaved fish.
We should get Taco Bell later.
That sounds good.
I love the small little touch where like Dylan finishes filling out the paperwork and he's like, all right, is that it? And Milchek's like, key card. And he leans forward and holds his hand out to be handed the key card.
The blocking of this, dude.
And Dylan just slams it on the ground, like
So
not
good.
even looking at him. Like he's just so despondent. I don't even know if Dylan meant it as a fuck you to him.
Oh, he did.
But like the fact that like Milchek is once again being
Mic drop.
disrespected. Yeah. And Milchek's like, go report to the elevator and wait. And but before he can go, Miss Huang says, Dylan G, I'm sorry. I should have facilitated better.
Mm.
And
And
that's just like,
I
that's
shouldn't
enough.
have let you kiss. In hindsight, my B.
I should have gotten on the mic and be like, no. I should have ran in there with a spray bottle and sprayed you both.
Who is that child? Miss Wong.
But this is really sweet because like so many characters approach Miss Huang with this like either who are you or like kind of weird animosity like Irving and Mochek
Dylan
does.
did.
Well, Dylan, when they were walking to the family,
He's like, "Are you okay?
Yeah, are you okay?" Like he was honestly kind of like, "Hey, I don't want to pry, but like, why are you here? Like you're a child. Are you okay?" Because he's the father of the whole 4 of them. And like as far as I know, he's the only one out of the core 4 that has kids. So it's kind of, I think it's a great pull that the Innie is the one that showed the most care for this kid. And I really like this moment where he's like, "It's not your fault." And I like that the 2 of them are kind of oddly bonded in this way.
Everyone's being so humanized.
Yeah,
Our
this
empathy.
made me. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's all I was just saying. Our empathy is really brought out by this episode, like so many times.
This moment is like a big moment in making me really excited to see Miss Huang in the show more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Because up to this point, she was like kind of like why is this weird kid here? I kind of am into that mystery, but that was kind of a surface level entertaining mystery. This is like a juicy, okay, there's a real human connection going on here.
She's supposed to be 14 years old and she's in charge of these, grown ass people who don't have social skills because all of their relationships are taken away by their severance chip, right? Mm-hmm. But she's like watched Dylan change, through these interactions, being, monitoring these visits that he's having with Gretchen. And she saw what happened when she fucked around and found out.
Fafo.
With Milchick's, his what was it? His evaluation.
His evaluation.
His first evaluation. Yeah. She like fucked around and found out because she reported, like he uses big words. Or was it Drummond? Do we know? Do we know? Do we know?
It seems
we
like
don't know. However, we do get Drummond being like, apologize for the word.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah,
So maybe it wasn't even her.
Oh.
It was Drummond all along.
I feel like as a 14-year-old, you're seeing all these things. She went from, they're not even people. Why are we giving them a funeral? I thought it was only for Innies who died off the floor. Scary.
Mm-hmm.
What are you
and
doing?
she plays a theremin. Psycho.
Yeah. Who plays a theremin? And she gets pissed when she doesn't get to play it.
Just kidding. I think the theremin's the best thing about Miss Huang, honestly.
She learned that. The actress.
If you introduce yourself to me and you say, "Hello, I'm so-and-so, I play the theremin," I immediately want to be your friend and I immediately want to impress you.
I kind of want to get one now.
If that's how they introduce themselves, you'd just be like, that's a really weird thing to say.
That's my people.
Yeah, that's my people.
But she's changed so much. Like she felt empathy for Dylan. Mm-hmm. And she was like, they're not even people. Why are we giving them a funeral?
And you know what?
Like what?
You know what? Isn't that what an internship is for?
Growth.
To teach people?
No, it's for unpaid work.
Oh, you're right.
It's child labor because we already know from the last episode that Lumon employs children.
RIP all the interns at my old job.
Oh.
Well, Andy, you kind of brought it up, but this next scene is Mr. Drummond talking to Milchick in the kind of lobby area of the Lumon building. He says, "Oh, so this is tightening the leash, huh? Our most vital refiner missing in the wind on Lumon's finest day, huh? Dylan G getting cock blocked by himself. Oh, this is tightening the leash? Okay. This is your fault, Mr. Milchick.
Thank you for the remonstration.
I don't even know what that is."
A needlessly complex word for a simple idea.
Shorter.
I apologize.
Again.
I'm sorry.
Again.
Mr. Drummond?
Your penis is small.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh, sorry.
Your operating member is at a insufficient length and girth. No, he says, "Mr. Drummond, devour feculence."
Oh, I loved it.
And I love this little bit because he's like, what? Because I think Mr. Drummond knows what that means, but he's more like agog at the fact that he would say that. He's quite agog.
Yeah, he's the school bully getting his ass beat.
It means eat shit, Mr. Drummond. And Mr. Milchick pops off on him. He's like, "I am the manager of the severed floor. I am owed respect by my superiors. And more obvious, that floor comprises the whole of my jurisdiction. So And then this, like, I love this super cunty to put
So
that
good.
monosyllabically. Syllabically.
You're way better if you
I
said
love
the
it.
word wrong.
No, say it. I like it.
Monosyllabically.
There we go. I love it.
It's not my fault what Mark Scout does when he's not at work. It's yours.
Oh, hell yeah. And he's right. Fuck
Damn.
off, Drummond.
He hit that fucker with a reverse Uno.
Shitted on him.
First.
And your haircut's bad. Boom. And then he left.
Roasted.
I love this scene so much.
Yeah, it's
so good.
It's
What's his
incredible.
tattoo? Is this tattoo frolic?
Drummond?
Yeah.
Yeah. On his hand.
You know what?
Isn't there someone with a frolic tattoo on a shoulder that we
I
haven't
think
seen
it's
the reveal
Bert.
of yet?
I think it's Bert.
You
I
think,
think it's a low level goon.
you think Bert has the frolic tattoo?
Probably. I don't know. He
And
doesn't
he-
seem like an ether addict.
They have a couple
Drummond.
videos on the LinkedIn Lumon page, and they have like quick flashes of someone with a frolic tattoo on their shoulder
Okay.
or bicep.
Maybe-ish. I don't remember.
It's like upper arm, shoulder
Mhm.
area. And so Erica's been trying to figure out who that is.
Well, as Drummond is also kind of an enforcer-ish type person, I could see it being Bert.
Yeah.
I could totally see it.
Frolic. Wow.
Wow.
There it is. Hell yeah, Steve.
We cut to Mark. He finally works up the nerve to call Mr. Mochek. And I think this is a great scene as well because Mochek answers immediately. He's like, oh, Mr. Scout, where are you at? Oh, we were worried about these nosebleeds. So we went to Soil Hill Clinic.
Soil Hill.
But they're going to Soil Hill Clinic to get some more tests. And he's like, oh, that's, we're a medical company and you're one of Lumon's best employees. You should be under Lumon care. May I get your exact location to send a car for you? So Mochek's doing some good work here, I think. But then I love what Mark does where he's like, okay, all cards on the table. I'm not sick. I just needed the day. Okay. And he's like, may I ask why? No, I've got life stuff. Isn't that what Lumon's all about? It's about balance. Work is just work, right? Do you know what I mean, Mr. Mochek?
Work is just work.
And
It's not mysterious and important. It's just work.
It's just work.
The way
Holy
he
shit.
delivers, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is so fucking powerful.
And I love the way we get to see
It's like
that.
voice breaks a little bit.
Yeah. I love how we get to see that, how those words affect Mochek specifically. Cause I bet he's like, man, I wish I could have called off today.
He's got that like curly phone cord in the kitchen and he's just like turn around like girl talk time.
Aw.
Just sit at my desk. Let's talk girl talk.
That's
Okay.
great like blocking again,
Yeah.
like him turning his back on the company and shit.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Sitting on the desk instead
it's
of
a
the chair.
fucking
Yeah.
human moment.
And he looks at his
Painting.
portrait of the iceberg.
That's so fucking tiny on that giant ass wall.
And he's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forget. I am also more than what appears above the surface. And he said, and the way he says, like, I have your word, you'll report into work tomorrow. Like his voice is breaking and he's like on the verge of just crying his eyes out because he feels this moment. And Mark's like, yeah, you have my word. And he's like, well, thank you for calling. And what a cool moment. Like these two characters that are on complete sides, opposite sides of a war. And they just have this very human moment of like, dude, I get it, dog. Like work, it sucks. And sometimes you just need a break. Obviously it means completely different stuff for Mark specifically, but it hit the way the scene's kind of like is constructed. It hits a lot for Mochek as well.
Yeah. Literally the phrase is the work is mysterious and important. And Mark's like, work is just work. Am I right, dog? And Mr. Milchick's like,
important.
yeah, kinda.
God damn it, Mark. Yes, I would follow you into the battle.
Harmony Cobel had like 3 panels of painting and I got this tiny ass little stupid fucking iceberg.
Wait, Mark, before you go, I just need to vent a little. You wouldn't believe what they did to paintings of Kier.
Can you believe this?
Can you believe
Well,
that shit?
honestly, like he was just reaching out to Natalie because he knows.
Yeah.
And she knows. And they made that eye contact.
And now it's just like, please stop talking about it because I
Like-
don't want to get outed.
The board is waiting.
I miss her.
Hate it.
Bring her back.
Barbie, tour guide, Kier Barbie.
Kier Barbie.
Ugh. Complete with headset.
Ooh. We go to the train station with Bert and Irv. We're kind of wondering what is Bert going to do with Irving. It turns out he's buying him a ticket so that he can get on the longest line that could possibly be purchased, and he can't know where Irving's going to get off. Giggity.
Hate it. No.
You can go anywhere you want to go, but you can't come back to Kier. Do you understand?
Don't foul this moment, Steve, with your giggities.
Bert and Irv need love too, all right?
Yeah, they do, but not giggities.
Hot giggity love.
This is a Casablanca moment, you know?
It
This
is a
isn't a
Casablanca
fair to remember moment.
It's Chinatown, Bert. But I love how Irving's kind of worried about him. He's like, well, Lumon come after you. He's like, I'm Christopher Walken. I'll fuck him up. You asked me why I severed. I like the idea that I could be innocent again, at least a part of me. But then my innocent part fell in love with you.
No.
And it's
These
really sweet.
doe eyes. I can't take it.
And I love how
This man just tried to drown a woman, and I'm like,
Like 5 minutes ago.
literally
You know?
5 minutes ago. I'm like, I forgive you, though. I don't really love Helen Egan either.
I do it too. Irving wants to remember it. Bert says it's probably better if they don't. And Irving has this really beautiful, kind of sad moment where he says, I've never been loved before. Not really. And he says, and Bert's like, well, now you have. How's it feel, my guy? And he's like, I don't fucking know. Don't you want to know how it feels? But it isn't possible. And this whole time they're slowly getting closer and closer, and they touch foreheads, which is what they were doing in Bert's secret place where all the plants were in the first season. So they're touching foreheads. It's so sweet. And then Irv starts saying, like, I've never had this, not my whole life. I want to. I'm ready. I'm ready.
So sad.
I'm ready. He's like begging for Bert.
He like whispers it once.
Do it. I'm ready. And then, and you can see Bert's almost like going to turn that forehead touch into a full on smooch. But then he says, like, we can't. No, we can't do it. Fields will be so sad.
Oh.
Fields has got some shit on him. You know he does.
You know what Fields was? If Fields was following,
Fields is the rich one. He's just like living with him.
For sure, Fields is the rich one. But you know, and this is why I love this idea. If Fields was with him the whole time, Fields would be in the back with like popcorn, like, "Oh, kiss it, Bert."
I don't know.
Why don't you put a big smoocheroo on Irving? He's adorable.
So.
Eddies deserve love too.
I don't think so.
I want to watch you make sweet love.
I hope it's beautiful.
Yeah, it will be beautiful.
It was all a lie.
Oh, these should be
was jealous.
cherry tomatoes.
He's oof. And Bert's all like, if I was a rich girl.
I love this little bit where Bert says, "Bon voyage, buddy." Because Erica, why?
Why would you say bon voyage to someone on a train? You don't. You say that to someone who's going on a cruise vacation, an extended cruise vacation.
Which is what Milchek told the others that where Outie Irving went on an extended voyage.
Yeah. He's not dead. He went on an extended cruise voyage vacation. Or
that smells like horse shit and chicanery.
And licorice.
The worst.
Who brought the fireball? Irv and Radar take their train tickets and they leave. And we get a bunch of like...
Yes, Radar takes his train ticket.
Radar's like, woof.
I'm going to miss you, Bert. Saw you a lot, buddy.
Does he take a child's ticket? How do you pay for a dog on a train? I'm genuinely curious.
Pretty sure dogs aren't allowed on the train.
Probably not.
You know?
At this point, we're like cut between a bunch of different things. Dylan's waiting for the elevator to take him up. Miss Huang's waiting for the shuttle. Irv and Radar are getting on the train. And I love this little bit where Radar does like a little like a little cute little puppy noise, and Irving smiles because he loves the sound of Radar.
He does, but he also like gets to take with him that he's been loved now.
Mm-hmm. And that's why he's smiling.
That's so beautiful.
He's geeking out the whole time because he has been loved by someone.
I lost it, but I had it, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, there's this really cool scene where when Dylan's, or it's a cool shot. Dylan's waiting for the elevator. The elevator arrives. He stands up. But if you see, they have him framed exactly like one of the heads on the Heads of Kier painting.
Yeah.
Behind him.
They're checking them off one by one. They're just picking them off.
He's the first one to go too.
No, he's not.
Well, like
second.
Well, they have him. Is he second? I thought he was the first one.
No, I'm just saying like Irving was first. Oh. They're picking them off one by one.
Well,
literally.
They frame him as the first one.
Yeah.
So he gets in the elevator. Miss Huang is collected by the Lumon shuttle. And then as the elevator doors close on Dylan, the train rockets into the sunset, taking Irving somewhere.
We know that they used the majority of the
Somewhere to
budget.
get off.
Elsewhere.
Giggity.
They used the majority of the budget elsewhere because that wasn't it for
Yeah,
me.
the
That
CGI
CGI train was rough.
Yeah.
The CGI train is a little
On
rough.
the Polar Express. Kier Egan Express. There we go.
If that scene went on a little bit further, Tom Hanks would show up and be like, hot, we got it.
I know, with water.
Hot chocolate.
We don't got it with milk here. It's water.
And then that annoying kid with a glass, like, what are you doing here for? Did someone fall in love with you and give you a ticket on the train?
At least you had to bring your dog.
Oh, did you bring your dog? Is it named Radar? I love the sound of it.
That's a really good impression of the annoying
It's
kid
really
from
good.
the Polar Express.
It's really
what the
good.
fuck?
I'm just an annoying kid. So.
Hilarious.
We cut to Mark and Devon and Cobel. They're giving each other the classic, like, we're about to do a heist thing where they look at each other like, nod. Look over to you, nod.
You ready for this?
Devon and Mark look at each other, wink. Because they're about to do some sleuthing. We get some cool shots of the black hallway and the lights coming on for the black elevator. And
Yeah, that was one cool thing. Like the train
transition?
was terrible, but then like the train, like the line down the train was like the lights.
yeah,
the
transition
light
to the elevator
reflecting.
lights on
Yeah,
the
that was
ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good camera
Dark
work
hallway.
there.
Mhm.
In MDR, Helly is trying to memorize Irving's directions to get to the black hallway. And at this point...
Oh, wait. I'm so sorry. Let's go back a little bit because Mark gets into Cobel's truck.
Oh, yes.
It's Hampton's truck, but you know, Cobel's truck. But he's doing the same thing that Harmony did to hide.
It worked, Mark.
Listen.
Trust me.
Get under the top, Mark.
It's got a 100% success rate.
I bought this from Hampton. I didn't give it back.
Who the fuck is Hampton?
Poor Hampton.
Mark.
There was a pineapple involved. It's not your business.
Mark, do you want to get high? I've got some ether.
There probably was in the glove compartment because that was Hampton's truck.
Yeah,
That fucker runs on ether.
yeah, he does. Yeah, Helly's at MDR. She's trying to memorize the directions that Irving wrote for them. At that point, James shows up behind her.
You tricked me.
You tricked me. My Helly.
Here's the thing that
You've
creeps me
tricked me.
out. It creeps me out that he
What
was
the fuck?
there because we get the elevator,
So he was
goes
in
from
the
the
elevator.
train. Yeah. What the fuck was he doing down there?
Yeah.
What was he doing down there? Because we get the dark elevator and it goes ding, and then he shows up behind her. So what nefarious deed was he up to down there? And the next couple of scenes kind of are like, oh, James. I don't know. And I don't understand why he says, and guys, help me out, my brain. I don't know. He's like, you tricked me, Helly. What? I mean, he didn't know about
My
the
Helly.
Ortbo information about Helena because they said, because
Let's not tell father about this.
yeah, Helena comes in, she's, am I going to be updating father later? And they're like, we decided to spare him of that information. But then he also says he wanted her to go back as Helly. So what was the information they decided to spare him? They obviously told him that she needed to go back because Mark's demanding her. But like, what did they spare him of? The sexual indiscretion?
Did they say that he was the one that wanted her to go back as Helly?
Father encourages it.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's creepy that Drummond called him father.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that's true.
that's why it's so memorable. Ugh, they're all creepy.
Yeah. I don't know what this scene's about.
information? Yeah, what information were they sparing him? Because obviously, if he wants her to go back as Helly, he understands that Mark wants her back. So I don't know.
This is kind of what I want to talk about. So last week, I had mentioned that there is a fan theory that I was like, oh, I kind of like that theory. And they were using like how Helly and Gemma's ID numbers were swapped on the Cold Harbor information tags. So Erica actually spearheaded some really great information and research this week, where we were kind of looking at all the different times everyone's ID numbers came up. And what actually happened with that person's theory is that it was predicated on one single frame from the episode in season 1 where they break into the security office and you can see everyone's security numbers. Well, that scene is a continuity error because what happened was when the graphics team entered in Helly's name, the Excel spreadsheet shifted, but none of the ID numbers shifted. So they were going off that frame saying Helly's ID number was this. That ID number is actually Mark's. So whenever that ID number is appearing on Cold Harbor, it makes sense because Mark is working on that case file. So that whole theory doesn't necessarily go anywhere based off that evidence. So I just wanted to bring that up quickly at the top here that, you know, there was those numbers weren't correct. Helly's numbers are different and they aren't being swapped in between Helly and Gemma's numbers. However, I do think there's still something to the idea of the whole goal of Lumon is to be able to input other people's consciousnesses into other bodies in order to sustain infinite life, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So like we know that James is going to do this revolving. Maybe it's his whole thing to like live forever. And there is some weird like you're going to drown, Gemma. There's a lot of drowning metaphor around what's going on with Gemma on the testing floor.
The Helena thing, even
And even in the titles, you see Helena or Helly and Gemma kind of, you know, being in the same spot all the time. So I've been thinking a lot about this. So I'm wondering if Cold Harbor is just about like putting other people's consciousness into another person and deleting their original consciousness. But Helena is looking for a way to escape her life as an Egan because she's like kind of been stalking Mark. She told him in episode 4 she didn't like who she was. And so if James saying you tricked me, maybe it's Helena doing some movement around the scene so that she's the one who gets put into Gemma's body instead of whatever's going on with James. Like, I'm not saying James will be put into Gemma's body, but maybe like she was the testing ground and like she's gonna, I don't know. I think there's something to that theory. But I just want to say like the original person who brought that up on Threads, they were operating under some wrong numbers going on the screen.
Because it was all an Excel error.
Basically, like if you go on, there's a really great on the Severance wiki. There's a page on the Severance wiki called like the minor inconsistencies of Severance, and it talks about all how these like numbers don't really line up specifically in season 1.
Interesting.
And Eric and I had a great talk about this because a lot of the whole like Helena thing in the beginning, there was that like, oh, the dings of the elevator are telling us that it's Helly or Helena, right? But if you go in season 1, the dings don't operate that way. And it's because that wasn't a rule in season 1. It's a rule now in season 2. So that's why we were like, oh, I don't know if I don't know if I trust anything happening in season 1 now because they didn't have the idea until season 2, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they were just winging it. They didn't know if they were going to get renewed.
Right.
But they knew where it started, they knew where it ended, but everything in between was still up for grabs.
Yeah. But
yeah, they I get all of that. I don't think there's cloning. I think the story is actually much simpler than people make it out to be, but I still don't know because I do see the water, the water with the opening of this was supposed to be the big day and she's in the water and she's got, again, that camera angle where it looks like she's underwater, but she's above the water and she's breathing. Cause at first I was like, how's she breathing underwater? Okay. That's weird. Oh, she's not underwater. Okay, fine. But how'd they get there? And what does it have to do? Because it was the expectation that this was the day. And Cobel says, well, if you completed the file, then she's dead. Dead how?
She's going to the sunken place. That's how.
That's a good point.
It's so terrifying.
If he completes the file, she's dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
So are they going to literally drown her? And I only say drown again because of the whole thing with the rocks and everything. But
we could do a lot of like visual metaphor of someone's consciousness drowning and being lost in the sea of consciousness. Yeah. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they've been doing a lot of like, here's aerial shots of a shoreline. Mm-hmm. They've been doing that a lot this season.
So much water imagery.
In episode 4, Irving on the top of a frozen lake because they haven't gotten the technology to break through the lake yet. That kind of thing.
Even the car, Harmony Cobel's rabbit she ditches in her town, Salt's Neck. That's in water
in the titles.
In the titles.
Yeah.
So
a lot of stuff, a lot of possible stuff going on. But Cobel, Devon, and Mark are driving to the berthing cabins. They're going to Cottage 5. They're talking to a security guard, and Cobel's doing this whole ruse, like, oh, she's one of James. No one's to know. And Devon's like got her hand on her stomach, like, me pregnant.
And she's smiling, so
So apparently
dorky.
James has a lot of bastard children running around.
Right.
I mean, that's some classic cult leader 101 shit.
For
All
sure.
cult leaders are fucking everybody.
And isn't it crazy that Helena hates her dad probably? He called her a fetid moppet and she like has no love for him that we can visually see. It's very cold between them. And yet she's following in his footsteps, sleeping with the employees.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that messed up?
Mm-hmm.
But this is my favorite part.
So do you want to kind of go into this is a good opportunity to start talking about the Twilight Zone thing you found?
Yeah, remember that? We didn't know if the After Hours would come back, that Twilight Zone episode. So Cobel is talking to the woman at the outpost. And she said she's one of James. No one is to know. And so the person who's there says, actually Cobel says, Miss Marcia White, 9th floor. And so the person at the post says, specialties department. And then Cobel says, I'm looking for a gold thimble. Very dramatic, but
Like that's their like secret code to know she's on the level.
that's their code. So that episode, the After Hours, it is about Miss Marcia White on the 9th floor in the specialties department looking for a gold thimble. And so it's literally what she's looking for in the episode, this Miss Marcia White.
In the episode
Of
The
Twilight
Twilight Zone.
Zone.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the After Hours.
And it's like a mall type situation, and
Yeah.
and floor
It's
9
a
has a
department
bunch
store.
of mannequins that have come to life, and the mannequins tell her like, "Oh, you're also a mannequin." Each month, one of us goes out and is allowed to live the life of an actual human being for a month, but then you come back and we trade places. And you had your month, and you just forgot that you were a mannequin, and now it's this person's month.
Interesting.
And the outro says, Marcia White in her normal and natural state, a wooden lady with a painted face who 1 month out of the year takes on the characteristics of someone as normal and as flesh and blood as you and I. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Just how normal are we? Just who are the people we nod our hellos to as we pass on the street? A rather good question to ask, particularly in the Twilight Zone. Who are you?
What a good little, this is like a great little Easter egg.
Wow, that
the
is
show.
pretty great.
Super
Dang.
fun.
Because that
Super
message
fun.
is pretty on point
She's
with
wooden.
this message of Severance.
I was just
who do
like,
you know?
fuck yeah, Marcia White, 9th floor, especially his apartment.
Yeah.
Gold thimble?
Secret
Moving
code.
on.
It's clearly
that's
a code.
classic secret code shit.
Yeah, totally.
No one uses a thimble, let alone a gold one.
Also, a gold thimble is like a symbol of love. If you remember, like Wendy gave Peter Pan a thimble and said it was a kiss.
No,
Like back in the
What?
day, like a thimble was like a token of love. Isn't that cute?
Aw, man.
It doesn't mean that to Jamie Egan though. He's a whore.
Andy, I owe you some thimbles.
Yeah, man.
Be careful. If you get more than 3, you never get married.
What?
Yeah.
Who makes up these rules?
I don't know. Witches probably.
These Jezebels with their thimbles.
That's right.
You Jezebels and
They're
you
golden thimbles.
got
Aw.
quad thimbles, you Jezebel.
Was a thimble involved?
We get a really cool Severance transition where Mark's like in the bed of the truck, and then it does like and it zips him, and he's wow, he's in the cabin, and it's Innie Mark, and he's sort of like freaked out why he's there. Devon's like, hey, don't worry, if you go out that door, he's just gonna come right back in.
Like the callback.
Yeah, it's kind of like the service elevator, or not service elevator, the service door that they can walk out of. That specifically Helly did in the first
The
episode of the show.
southeast or southwest hallway.
She's giving him the Chris Hansen treatment. She's like, you want to come with me? You want to have a seat?
Yeah,
Yeah,
have a seat.
have a seat.
Why do you have a seat right
Oh,
there?
have a slice of pizza. Go ahead.
And she keeps saying she wants to talk, leads him upstairs, and there's this fucking rad shot of
Yeah.
Cobel standing in the room with the fireplace lit behind her. It's such a cool shot. And one of the things that Eric and I love about Miss Cobel is the way she just stands. She just stands with her hands to her sides, and she's not like really doing anything with her hands.
She doesn't know how to human. She doesn't know how to relax.
Yeah.
Like she's standing very similarly when she confronts Helena in the parking lot, but her fists are balled. But right now her fists are relaxed. You know how you were talking about, she looks completely different. She does.
She does.
Her hands are relaxed. She's not like, she doesn't have both of her hands and fists like menacing. She's just like what, like, we're doing this.
We're doing it.
She's breathing heavy. He's breathing heavy. They're just like, okay, we're doing this.
Doing this. Devon says, do you remember the last thing you said to me? She's alive. And then we get the last final cut of Cobel. The episode ends. Presumably, we're going to get all sorts of answers next week. How
if they were
is that?
catty bitches, this could have been the finale of season 2.
Yeah, it could
I
have
would
been.
have still
with the
loved
exact
it.
same fucking thing.
Well, don't speak too soon, Andy. You remember how the first season ended. They could definitely end it in a very cliffhangery position.
The next episode is just like 70 minutes of the intro.
I think the next episode is supposed to be like 75 minutes long. Like, it's supposed to be very long.
Yeah. Making up for that Harmony Cobel episode.
A short one, yeah.
37 minutes.
Well, it's time for us to move on to our favorite moments of the episode. But before we do that, Andy, what time is it?
Fireball? No, I'm just kidding. It's time for some sponsors.
Hello, Stream Fiends, as we march into the vibrant spirit of spring, where new beginnings bloom and the chill starts to wane, we want to pause for a moment of gratitude. Before we wrap up today's episode, we have a very special tradition that's as revitalizing as the first day of spring, acknowledging our super patrons. These incredible individuals support us at the $25 tier or more, nurturing the growth of our podcast like the March sun encourages the flowers to bloom. They are the roots of our community, ensuring that our creative endeavors continue to flourish. So let's give a special shout out to none other than Xander Barbarian, Aubrey Carell, Daniel Pack, Nice Guy Eddie, Taloon, Jordan Garvin, Albus Stinkpot, Haley Maddlestat, Susie Callahan, Anthony Corona, Jim E, Lady Trashley Milady, Sean Myers, Just Liz Calabria, Mike from New Hampshire, Brett X, E Scramo, Lil Tickler, Svento7, Jay Scramo, Lothpum, aka Ashley Ray, Adam Busby, Big Butthorn, Jair Latanovich, Kaylee Sampson, Rabbit Dog in a Barbie Car, Elbander, Charlie Friday, Alexis Adler, Peaches, Emmy, Haley B, Joe Velez, Trisha Bueller, Sun Loving Mortal, Suzanne Rode, Jadinklage Morgoon, Kalisha Reeves, Paula Garcia, Brenda, Aaron Armstrong, Kevin Strother, Ashley Powers, The Thrift Creeper, Casey McCain, and Enza. Thank you all so much for supporting Streaming Things all this time. And with that, let's get back to the episode. And we're back. We hope those sponsors were very lovely and not at all problematic. but in this day and age, who's to tell?
Who's to say?
Who's to say? But Andy, before we went to break, you said it was time for Fireball. Is it still time?
I'll drink to that.
I'll drink to that. All right, down the hatches, my lovelies.
Cheers.
Let's abide by these fripperies. Oh, I'm taming these tempers.
I think you're untaming them. I think you're wilding those tempers.
Loosen the tempers.
For the next couple segments, I'm gonna really embody the Goat Man and the Waffle Party. So right now we're headed towards our top 3 favorite moments, our Kier's mandates. These are the Kier chosen ones, Kier. Erica, you're our guest for this episode. Why don't we start with you? What is your number 3 favorite moment of the After Hours?
I have to say, I love all the moments of empathy that we've had this episode. And as terrifying as Miss Huang has been, my number 3 is when she says to Dylan, I'm sorry I didn't facilitate well enough. You know, she called.
I need to rewatch that scene. You guys read so much further into it than I did.
Oh my God. It's so sad because, you know, again, like she didn't want to give them the funeral. She's like, can I ask a question? Why are you giving them a funeral? They're not people.
Ew.
And she was so strict and scary. Like her eyes were actually terrifying. She's a scary child. And then she's like, I'm sorry, Dylan G. You know, I'm sorry if I didn't facilitate. That was so sweet and beautiful. And again, like you said, the one of them, he may not even understand his own instincts, but he's like, it's okay. It wasn't your fault. Like he's comforting this child. That was really mean to him. But he's comforting her because he's felt the Irving way. Like, I'm leaving. I'm out. So that was so beautiful and sweet. And I love that. So that was my number 3.
He turned around and just said, Miss Huang, just hang in there.
Hang in there.
Andy, what's your number 3?
I think my number 3 is Milchick telling Drummond to devour feculence.
That was on my list.
Drummond like stepping up to him and he's like, it's Milchick's fucking with his extensive vocabulary, his Little Rascals moment, and it's fucking fire. Actually, I've always had a rather extensive vocabulary. I just thought it was so fucking great, and the most Milchick way possible to tell somebody to eat shit. It was just a great moment.
I agree.
Devour feculence.
Ooh, when you put it like that, sounds
Kind of sounds good.
That sounds nice. Like,
I'd try it.
can I have some feculence with a side of fries?
It's too close to opulence. I would be
It
tricked.
really is.
I'd be tricked immediately.
Would you like the plate of feculence? Like,
Sounds
ooh,
fancy.
Or
I'll take 2 plates. My number 3 moment is the moment between Bert and Irv at the train station. I'm ready. Like, he was really embodying his best SpongeBob SquarePants he possibly could. I'm ready. Why won't you get it, Bert?
I hate you for that. Actually. Why would you ruin such a beautiful fucking moment? Cancel him. No, don't. Please don't.
My notes
cancel him.
say, invoke SpongeBob. It will irritate Erica.
That's way more innocent than much of the content on this podcast. Don't cancel him.
But no, it's a very endearing moment. I love how visually it's a good callback to the relationship in the first season.
Yeah.
And just these 2 dudes that like clearly want to explore this relationship, but because of the way the world is and everything, they just can't for the safety of each other. And it's heartbreaking and it's sad, but I love how Irving leaves that conversation with a smile on his face because he felt it. It's the first time he's felt it in his entire life. And I'm sure that's true because like as a man, we know he has a military background. I'm sure that had to have been hard, with his age growing up gay in the military, that had to be a very difficult thing to go through. But, I love that he at least got that little bit of moment and I hope they get back together.
Yeah.
And, his father was in the military, which makes us kind of like get an idea about who he could have been. Like, what if his dad didn't even love him because he was so strict? He's like, you can't be that.
Yeah.
You got to be
That's a
something else.
possibility, yeah.
And he's like, I've never been loved. He didn't say, I've never been romantically loved. He's saying I've never been loved. And he could have meant like, hey, my dad was really strict and I don't know what it feels like to feel loved by someone. It's so beautiful.
Radar's like, what am I, chopped liver? What the fuck?
If Radar could talk, the things he'd say.
From the mouth of babes.
I love you, Father.
I unlocked the door for Drummond, bitch. Tell me how you've never been loved.
Radar's a secret Lumen.
I showed him where all your shit was.
Radar's a secret Lumen agent.
I took out all those trophies so he could find all of your secret spy shit.
Got him.
Dad.
What's your number 2, Erica?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
There's just too many moments,
There are.
Like,
This is a
There's a
really
lot.
great episode.
Yeah.
I think my number 2 is Dylan proposing to Gretchen.
Yeah.
Because she's all like, I can't see you anymore. And he says, my life started when you came here. And that I think he's lying a little bit because his life started when he knew he had a son. Like that was that first piece of the outside, They
Always
don't
forgot
see-
about that kid.
He says I want to talk about my offspring.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Offspring number 1. But he is so sweet. He hasn't seen the outside. He doesn't care. His life started when she got there. And he's like, she said, you have so much going for you. And she knew that was bullshit.
Well, he had a lot of
She
waffle
knew
parties.
he was
so
in prison. Oh, maybe she was a little jealous.
He was having a good
That's
time.
a good point. That's a good point. There were a lot of portraits
Why do
in
you
his
smell
drawer.
like waffles?
Caricature portraits in there. He was getting a lot of waffle parties. But he's like, I have nothing else. I have this and I have fucking pencil erasers. And that little finger trap ring kind of broke me because it's so immature and stupid.
But like,
But
honestly,
it's so goddamn sweet.
It's sweet.
Like
I
he
think-
meant it
I
with
think
everything.
You brought up a good point when we were watching it because like his like finger traps and erasers, that was the thing that meant the most to him in his life. And he took one of those and fashioned a ring out of it because that was the only materials he had around. And he took something that was meaningful to him and made a ring out of it.
He needs external validation because he doesn't know how to love himself on the inside or the outside. And so he took something that meant a lot, that external validation that he was really cool, and he cut it up. That's just, Dylan G.
Dylan G. Andy, what about you? Number 2?
My number 2 is your number 3. Irv's ready. He's ready.
I'm ready.
Yeah, it's just so sweet. And
You polluted
it's
it.
super good a clock to recognize that it was like a kind of mirroring of their secret garden moment together in the first season. And
I mean, you love a secret garden conniving.
yeah, love a secret garden conniving. Just he's so fucking good, man. The both of them, they are both titans of actors, and like the scene is so sweet. It's one of those scenes where everything is not everything, but so much is left unspoken, and like kind of Erica said, there's so much history that could be being alluded to and saying that he's never been loved, and I don't know, it's just beautiful, and I fucking love the work that they're doing. It is a top 3 moment for sure.
Hell yeah. That's a great choice. My number 2 is the phone call with Milchek and Mark. I need a day, man. Because we've all been there. We've all kind of called our bosses and played hooky, right?
Sure.
I mean, I definitely have. I don't want to incriminate anyone else at this table who have active employment. But I mean, I think that's a very human thing. Like, you just need the day. Mentally, you just cannot deal with it. There's real life stuff. And the fact that Mark's saying this, and on the other end of the line, Milchek's just feeling that as well. And it just speaks to this whole like season long progression of Milchek's character of like, here's this guy, like, I'm not Harmony Cobel. I actually have feelings and I care about the people under my employ. Like, yeah, I'm going to work within the system still, but I'm going to try to make it a little bit more humane. He's definitely a character that's not there yet. Like, he's not on the side of good yet at all, but he's getting there. And this is just one of those scenes that really plays into that. And I just love the, like, Mark S on the outside will never know what Milchek on the inside is going through. And it's a great sort of juxtaposition between the two. And I just really like that scene.
Yeah,
it's my
absolutely.
number 2. Erica, what's your favorite moment of After Hours?
Man, you guys both had it as your number 3 and number 2 position, so I feel like I have to change mine.
No, do what you feel.
Here's what I'm going to say. It was the Casablanca moment, but also that's beautiful and that's sad and wistful, but that moment is going away. And I think I'm just going to look forward. And my number 1 moment is Mark coming up that fucking staircase. And there is, Mark S. coming up that fucking staircase. And there's Harmony Cobel. And she is just like, it's a wonder. Like, this was her invention. Lumon has taken something that she made and bastardized it. And, you know, James Egan is up here whoring around because there's a whole fucking birthing cabin. And who knows how they've bastardized her beautiful, clearly.
I'm
There's
knee
a
deep in
whole
bitches.
there's a whole code phrase about it. How?
I call my dick Kier.
How much Cialis does it take?
Praise Kier.
How many little blue Lumon pills does that man need? He's half dead.
10 to 15 a day.
3/4 dead. Okay. But he still has a room, right? And you
It
know,
looks like if Walton Goggins was wearing a skin suit.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Walton Goggins.
oh
It's
my
fucking fire.
God. You know, but here they are in this place, and this is not a good place. You know, this thing that they're hatching, this plan that they're going to take them down is in a very humble environment, considering that it's secret coded for, you know, people that James Egan has impregnated, right? And they're impregnated with ideas. What? Sorry, that's the fireball talking. I'm joking. That's not as cool as I tried to make it. I'm just joking. But
They
it
used
is
a golden thimble to help them weave this tale.
Ew, no, they didn't. Ew, no, but it's so good. Just seeing her like in all her glory. I'm sorry, I made it weird. Seeing her in all her glory. She doesn't have her tight fist. Like she was gonna like punch Helena in the face in the parking lot. Parking lot rules. But she is like relaxed and she doesn't know and he doesn't know. They don't know what the fuck they're doing or what they're gonna do, but they're gonna do fucking something because Gemma is still alive. Holy shit.
Holy shit.
I blew my own mind just then.
Whoa. Hurt people.
Holy shit.
What, Andy? Andy, what is your number one favorite moment?
It's Mark calling into work. For all the things that you said, it's such a good scene. And the way that he delivers you know what I mean, Mr. Milkshake? It's just so fucking good. I don't need to wax lyrical about it. You already did. It's a great scene.
Beautiful.
What's your favorite?
My number one favorite moment is, I think, your number 3. That is the devour feculent scene because it's
Switchies.
It's so funny to me. Like Milchek is maybe my favorite character on the show. I just really adore him. I find his character arc fascinating, and I love how he finally steps up to Mr. Drummond. And the way he does it is he owns his vocabulary and he wears it like a suit of armor, much like Tyrion Lannister says. Wear like a suit of armor. The world won't forget what you are. Hit him with the big vocab words, baby. Devour feculence. I really do like this scene. It's a testament to just how great they've done with this character's arc.
They want to keep him under their thumb. They want to keep him humble. They gave him blackface Kier paintings. Mm-hmm. Okay. They clearly have no idea what's going on. They've never treated him with the respect that he deserves.
Yeah.
His position, he is managing like 50, who knows how many people.
They
like all those goat people, right?
They were scared of Harmony Cobel. They're not scared of him. They don't give him any respect. They walk all over him.
To be fair, he's only been boss for like
3 days.
Few days. Yeah,
that's true. It's like a week and a
no,
half.
5 months, Andy.
This is true.
Fake 5 months.
Well, those are all great moments. Let's move on to our best performance. Who's getting the Waffle Party? Erica, who are you nominating for your Waffle Party recipient?
I stan Harmony Cobel and Patricia Arquette, and I wanted to give it to her. But honestly, the outstanding person who really deserves it in this episode to me is John Turturro. God, again,
great.
I've already said it all. Like in episode 4, he's drowning Helena Egan. I'll fucking kill you. But
do it.
He is so Outie Irv is just, all his spying shit, everything. He's been caught. He's been had. It's him and Radar against the fucking Lumon Egan world that he lives in. He's going to have to leave his home. He doesn't have a job anymore. He's being threatened, and all he wants out of this is what does he want out of this? Why is he doing all this? He knows that something bad is happening. He wants the greater good for everyone else. And
we still don't know who he's working with.
We don't know who he's working with. But that beautiful, sweet, tender moment, that Casablanca moment, I'm going to get on this plane. Never going to see you again. You're going to be so fucking sad. You're going to miss me real bad.
You'd be so sad.
You're going to want me in the night. No, it's so beautiful. Like, that was so sweet and tender and gentle. And I do love, because they're friends, John Turturro and Christopher Walken in real life.
They've worked together a lot.
I love hearing them talk about it, because Christopher Walken's like, we do have chemistry. We've been friends for a really long time. We care about each other. Yeah.
We could touch heads.
You guys could absolutely.
Should we do that?
Yeah, I think so.
Will you? I'll just cry. Let me pop some popcorn first. But yeah, it's John Turturro for me all the way. It's just the sweetest. They all did great. You can't go wrong, no matter who you pick. But for me, it's John Turturro.
Andy, who's getting the Waffle Party from you?
I'm going to give it to Tremel Tillman.
Nice.
He, especially for the Mark calling into work scene, just like reactionary performance of just like turning around and staring at the painting and tearing up and, promise me that you'll be here tomorrow and stuff. Like he's got the fucking weight of the world on his shoulders right now. And he just crushed the feculent scene, all of it. He's so good.
Perfect. I had 3 people on my short list to get the Waffle Party.
I had 12 people.
I had John Turturro, I had Tremel Tillman, and I had Adam Scott. And
Oh yeah, he's in this.
he is in this.
Oh yeah.
Too.
I just really appreciated Adam Scott's like the way he just kind of freaks out on everybody. Like, no, we're like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, let's go save Gemma. Like, why? Like, that's a very real performance. And I just want to shout him out because I'm not going to give it to him. My heart really is going to go and give it to Tremel Tillman as well.
I thought you were gonna say Radar.
Dude. Oh, dog. He's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
Is
He
he?
deserves
He
it.
lets everybody in. Sorry, go ahead.
He's a Lumon operative. He's made it seem like
I'm just
Irving-
welcoming.
Oh, hello. I'm very aware that the work is mysterious and important.
Would you like a tea or coffee?
I'm Dieter Egan, consciousness put into a dog.
Dieter.
That was the brother, right, Dieter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had to think about it for a second.
The twin.
No, I'm giving it to Tremel Tillman. Everything you said, Andy, he is just I think he's the standout performance of the whole season, honestly. Like, he's just incredible every single time. And I've loved the, even back in that episode where he's like, grow. Like, that was just such a monumental performance. And then we get to see like the culmination of that storyline where he's like, devour feculence. It's so fucking great. And then that phone call with Mark where he's like, I have your word, but his voice is breaking up during it. So good. Did you guys see Tremel Tillman was on Stephen Colbert
Oh no.
and he
Yeah,
was
that was
talking
great.
about how he came to the pronunciation of
Glachschuben.
Oh, I heard that on the podcast, but I didn't see it on Stephen Colbert, so that's hilarious.
Yeah, he pretty much just said like he went to Google and tried to figure out how it would be said. But then he took inspiration from Betty White from Golden Girls, which is one of his favorite shows. And that's how you go check out the video. It's really funny. But yeah, that's Glachschuben. Apparently a lot of people make fun of him for that pronunciation.
Oh, it's wonderful.
But yeah, I think it's wonderful too.
It means
He's
they're
amazing.
talking about it.
We know what everyone else is talking about, guys.
What's that?
The wellness session
Oh, fuck.
that the two of you have earned.
I don't know.
We're coming at like 2 hours in this episode. It's been
I
a good
know.
one so far.
Ricker said that the longest episode is 2 hours and 39 minutes, and we're trying to beat it. He's relying on me to keep talking because he
Can
knows I'm
this
obsessed.
Wellness session go the distance.
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
You guys earned it. You guys did a lot of notes. You've talked a lot, almost 2 hours. You've earned this wellness session. Erica, you are the guest. So I'm going to allow you to pick the scent that we put on in the diffuser today. What scent would you like?
Chicanery, please.
Let me put in that chicanery. There we
Yeah,
go.
licorice and shenanigans.
Take it in. Take it in, everybody.
Oh, it's black licorice. Damn it.
Oh,
Black licorice. What?
I was hoping for like strawberry.
Oh,
or
man.
cherry. But it's okay. I still like it.
Andy's one of those.
I am one of those. Unapologetically.
I
You
just
either
really
love black
fennel.
licorice or you hate it. There's
I love
no
it with
between.
a passion. It's so good.
Much like
Anise is so good. Fennel, delicious. No.
Well, gang, I'd like to share some facts with you about your Outies. They are truly remarkable people. These facts should bring you great satisfaction, so just relax, stay open, and try to appreciate each fact equally. These facts are for your enjoyment and must remain within the pod. Erica, would you like to go first as well?
I would love to.
All right, are you ready?
I am.
Open yourself up to these facts.
I'm open.
Erica, your Outie has mastered the art of looking busy when they don't want to be bothered. Your Outie has an uncanny ability to open a bag of chips without making a single sound.
I think that's a lot.
Please enjoy each fact equally.
I will. I'll try.
Your Outie knows exactly when to pretend they weren't just singing along in the car when someone pulls up next to them.
Pink Pony Club. I mean, yes,
Yes.
I'm enjoying that equally.
That was a great cutaway we did to your Outie. Your Outie has strong opinions about which way the toilet paper roll should face, but will suffer in silence if it's wrong. Please enjoy each one.
I'm enjoying.
And lastly, if you were caught in an avalanche, what would scare you more, being crushed under the snow or suffocating before being rescued?
Suffocating. Final answer.
Wonderful. I hope you feel revived and well now.
I feel so relaxed.
Yeah. Andy, are you ready to feel relaxed?
I'm so ready.
All right, buddy, here we go. Your Outie instinctively knows the best bathroom in any public building.
That's true.
Eric, are you okay over there?
I'm enjoying them equally for Andy.
Thank you. These are Andy's
Yeah.
Outie facts. Andy, your Outie can correctly guess how many trips it will take to bring in the groceries, but will still try to do it in one.
Always one.
Multiple trips is for the week. Your Outie never drinks the last sip of coffee because they fear it contains all the bitter secrets of the universe.
Smart.
Andy, your Outie instinctively knows which elevator button has already been pressed, but presses it anyway for dominance. And lastly, Andy, if you were in a jungle, what would be more terrifying, being stalked by a predator or contracting a deadly unknown disease?
Being stalked by a predator.
But isn't a deadly disease a predator in and of itself?
So they're one and the same.
The center of industry is dust.
He could enjoy those equally. Yeah. He could enjoy those equally.
Well, you guys deserve that wellness session. Thank you so much for taking a part of this episode with me. Thank you, listeners, so much for being with us on this ride. We only got one more episode of Severance to go. I know, we don't want it to end.
I never went in.
Kit should be back for us next week. We wish him safe travels on his journey.
Praise Kier.
Praise Kier. As always, you can get in contact with us at streamingthingspod@gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/streamingthings. Get our assortment of gifts and treats and perks that you have there.
Perks.
No finger traps, though. Sorry to say. We got to return some videotapes, though. My name is Steve.
I'm Erica.
And I'm Andy.
And I'm Steve. And this has been Streaming Things, Streaming Severance.
Happy streaming.
You did it.
I'm ready.
We can't. I'm ready. I'm ready. Who's this harlot?